Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Harihi Om.
That which we call the outer world is perfect. This which we call the inner world is perfect. Each one filled with divine consciousness. Perfect comes from perfect. Take perfect from perfect. The remainder is perfect. Divine consciousness is non-dual. Anything that emerges from the divine consciousness is whole, is complete, is Purna. May peace and peace and peace be everywhere. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya.
Spirit is something that is in everything and everybody. Today, our journey is based on past life shadows through nature, plants, trees, and rocks, minerals. A complete, unique vortex with mystical and lesser known spiritual dimensions, with shapes shifting constantly and validating past life experience. I feel elated for this opportunity to witness such an inspiring journey. I'm sure you too will be delighted. Hi, I'm Mridula. I've been with Dr. Trupti Jayin for past 3 years plus now. I have an fortune of being in her company to witness many lives changed for good with past life regression therapy. Under her guidance, like most of us, I too changed from infidel to Rus. And now I'm a practicing past life therapist using PLR therapy with sound healing generously. I welcome our viewers to Purnamadah series based on real life stories and insight of people who have experienced past life therapy with Dr. Trupti Jayin. The complete experience had got a phenomenal shift in each one's lives, which you shall hear from their personal experience in short while. And it will take you to next level mystical journey. Those who have been following us from the episode 1 are already experiencing our much aware that how magically hypnotherapy, counseling, and spiritual coaching can bring amazing results. Dr. Trupti Jayin, a clinical psychologist, occupational therapist, a transformational life coach with a wisdom, dedication, love, has transformed lives of thousands and thousands. She has touched more than 7,000 people across the globe. I connect you with the most amazing healer, Dr. Trupti Jayin, for a soulful journey, a great conversation with Payal and Manika Singh. Manika Singh, a a soft skill trainer, Payal therapist, a healer with keen interest over observing behavior, with 11 years of experience in her profession, completing her neuro leadership learning very recently, adding another feather to her cap. Welcome, Manika, to Purnamadah.
Welcome,
Very,
Manika.
our next guest on our list is Payal, a gentle, tender, sweet Payal Singh Das, a past life regressor, therapist, a yoga and a meditation practitioner, practicing nature and animal communication. So befitting to you, Payal. A life coach, a spiritual seeker with a complete outdoor spirit human as a hobby. Uh, I'm told that you love to stay a lot outside than the indoors.
Yes.
Well, welcome aboard to Purnamadah series. Me and ma'am are very glad to receive you. Ma'am, anything you would want to say?
I just want to welcome both of them. Welcome, Manika. Welcome,
Thank
Payal,
you.
and welcome,
Thank you so
Mridula.
much, ma'am.
All
Thank
you
three
so
of
much.
you. And I'm sure we're going to have a very insightful conversation about non-human lives. And the listeners have just heard about bird and animal lifetimes,
Yes.
insect lifetimes yesterday.
Yes.
And
Yes.
they've really enjoyed it. So today is going to be like some more fun.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
yes.
With
So,
yesterday's shows, ma'am, we have receiving such beautiful comments on
yes.
the yesterday's shows. So looking forward to some great views and great time today with both of you today. So shall we take this on?
Yes, of course. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. My first question to both of you, gorgeous women out there who intelligent heads. What were the issues you were facing when you thought of past life therapy? Was it curiosity, difficulties in spiritual growth that you felt like experienced the past life therapy, and why with Dr. Trupti Jayin?
So let us go with Manika first.
Yes,
ma'am.
absolutely.
In my case, I had been training soft skills in voice and accent for many years, and a time came when inside I could hear this voice that really wanted to grow. For a lot of people, the growth is like up. For me, it was like I wanted to grow more deep, and that's when being a practitioner of Nichiren Buddhism. So I started chanting that how can I grow? What is it that will give me growth? With this prayer, how the universe took me to ma'am. I didn't even know how this would happen, and ma'am was not on my mind. PLR was not on my mind. I didn't know if this was ever going to happen. So it was just so basically it wasn't my plan. So I would call it God's plan.
Yeah,
So God directed
this
ma'am.
was your life plan,
Yes, this
Manika.
was my life plan. Now
Just
I'm
had
so
to do
sure of it.
something like this. Yeah.
Yes, and when I got to know ma'am and I came face to face with her, I just couldn't believe that I am in front of a person who my mom is a huge fan of, because my mom never missed a single series of Ras Bihari Janam.
Ras Pichle
Yes.
Janam Mein, yeah.
So, and I was like, oh my God, I don't believe this, that Trupti ma'am is going to be my teacher, and I'm going to learn from her. So that was like a huge blessing in itself. And I did not question that even once, because this was definitely not my plan. So I
True.
just followed the plan that I was guided upon a path. So I just followed it.
Lovely. And my dear, what about you, Payal? What is it that got you to think of past life therapy?
Yeah, so for me, it was like a past life. I don't know where that belief came in my life, but I always believed that I have lived here before. That was there. And my journey, how I met you was like, I would say by the end of 2018 or starting of 2019, I was going through a lot of emotional turbulence in my life. And There was no specific reason for it. I don't know what happened to me. Suddenly, I would cry, I would feel lost, I would feel like just running away from everything, leaving the responsibilities behind. But I cannot do that. Something was terribly missing inside. And to surprise, it was the best phase of my life also. I was going through a good time. There was no problem as such when it comes to family or anything. I was happy in my family life, and this suddenly hit me. And then I started thinking, what's the problem with me? And that time, a lot of celebrities spoke about depression, especially Deepika Padukone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought maybe I am also undergoing depression. So then I went and met the doctor, the psychiatrist, and she said, this is a kind of a hormonal imbalance in your body now that you're going to another phase in your life. You know, 40 and above, you
Yeah.
go through certain hormonal changes in life, and that is when these things can happen. I was not prescribed any meditation, and my situation was getting worse. My family was getting affected. So whatever people said, I mean, one or two of my friends, they suggested I should take up yoga, I should take up meditation. I started doing that. I took up a course. More than yoga, the philosophy of yoga, it really interested me. How we are spiritual beings, how we are connected. Even that talk about past life. Yoga also talks about past
Yes.
life. So, and then one day suddenly I saw your post. And then when I realized that I was already following you from 2017 on Facebook,
Right.
but I used to read some of your posts and not read some of your posts.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
not that I was regularly reading your post, but that day, that post, it stuck me. I started finding answers in your post. So I started daily reading your post. And then one day, I think it was September or October when you had a 2 days program in Delhi. So I told my husband that I wanted to attend one of the sessions. And again, there's a story behind this. So in 2018, in May, you were having this training in Missouri, past life. And at that time, I told my husband I want to do this course. He also knew that I was very eager to know about past life. So he said, "What do you want to do? Do you want to make a career out of it?" I said, I'm not sure what will I do, but I want to learn." So he was not convinced. He said, "Why don't you go and take a personal session and finish it off? देख लो क्या तुम क्या थी past life में, and then finish it off." But I told him, I know I have lived this earth. I don't want to see what I was. I want to see how I can see that, what I was. I want to enjoy that
Process.
journey and the
The journey.
process. Yes. So he said, "It doesn't make sense. Dekh lo. It's an, do you think it is well investing it?" So this time in 2019, when I tell him कि मुझे सिर्फ एक session करना है उनके साथ, he tells me, "Why don't you go and do a training session with her?" So he was trying to help me in any way that I could feel better. So he said, "I think you will feel better. Go to Rishikesh. So now that you're saying I want to run away, मुझे कहीं जाना है, so this would be an opportunity. You'll feel better."
Yeah.
So that is how I came to your training session. So it had
Wow.
to happen, that
Yeah,
way.
so good. So as you've already both of you have already explained to us that you had read all about man prior to coming to do the course and the workshop and experience the past life therapy. Any other challenges you both faced post it or prior to it? Anything which you uniquely want to talk about it? Like Manika said that she had already experienced Raj Pisle Janam Ka. Her mother was a huge fan, and you said your husband said, "Why don't you go and be with man?" So I completely agree. Any other challenges which you found were like you actually thought that you should not be doing it or something different? Because I'm sure you would have read much about getting into it, or did you read or no? You just went
Uh-huh.
across.
So for me, I think in my teens, I had once read one story. There used to be this book, Reader's Digest. And I had read about a child in somewhere in UK who remembered his past life. and how he helped to find out who killed him. He was murdered.
Yeah.
And that fascinated me a lot about these things. And I would be very interested in ghost also. I would love to hear ghost stories, past life stories.
This is pretty man who's the first time saying is willing to hear the
So
ghost
if
story.
somebody
Yeah,
told
I
me कि
think
यहाँ से मत जाना,
we need to-
यहाँ पे भूत है, इस घर के पास से मत जाना, भूत है, I would make sure that I go from that house.
Look
I
at
wanted to
his brain.
experience it, कि कैसे होते हैं, you know, कैसे होते हैं. I wanted to feel that. I never
Yeah.
felt it anyways, but all those things would really fascinate me, and I always felt that I have been here before. I have lived this earth before, and this question of that. As a teen, I would think कि in my class of 50 students, why am I only friends with 3 or 4? Now, not with everybody. So there has to be a connection between these 3, 4 people who have lived,
Correct.
who are so close to me. Why am I only this family? And within a family also, you are not close to everybody. There is one or two specific people.
Yeah.
So those thoughts were always there with me because I had this belief. I don't know where it came from. None of my family spoke about it. They did not believe about it, but I believed it.
Right.
And then I would talk to some of my friends and colleagues, and they thought maybe ठीक है सुनने के लिए अच्छा लगता है ऐसे stories, but they did not believe. And then one of my colleagues, she had a similar interest like me, and then she suggested me many masters. And after that, reading that book, I read another book which was Same Soul, Many Bodies.
Correct.
Then I also read Miracle Happens, and then it was like concrete. Yes, ये तो है ही. And when ma'am's show came, राज पिछले जन्म का, तब तो मैं पक्का मान गई कि
ऐसा हो सकता है.
Yes, होगा ही होगा.
अब तो होगा ही, and I am somewhere right, you know.
Yeah,
So it was kind of a validation to my belief.
Yes,
that-
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Actually, it must have been God sent, somebody in India who's doing the same.
Yes, and
So we all ran to her. This is
Yeah,
our
and,
turn. We want to be with her.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, actually. And I'll tell you, I have lived in Mumbai also, and at that time, I thought I should go to ma'am. I should do a personal session with her.
Yeah, yeah.
But then a thought came, she's a celebrity. She must be charging too much. Where is she taking too much? So it did not happen that time. So I think it has to happen at the right time.
Absolutely.
After so many trials, I reached you. So I firmly believe that this was the time when I had to reach you.
True. There is always the right time, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And what about you, Manika? What were the issues that you were facing?
The only issue that I was facing was of something inside me kept telling me that there is more to life. There is more to my present career as a trainer that I was into. And as days kept passing by, I kept feeling inside there was a lot of restlessness because I could very clearly listen to the inside voice. And so I started doing a little bit of research that, okay, what is it that I can do? Because somewhere inside I felt that there are a lot of people who can very well do voice and accent training. There are a lot of people who very well can do soft skills. There are a lot of people who are so good at it, not that I'm not, but inside something kept telling me that you have a different path. You have a different path. So I used to pray every day. And I was like, I don't know what is that path, and you have to show me what that path is, because I don't know. So with that prayer, every day, so I used to chant, and every day I used to sit and figure out on my own that, okay, maybe this is the path, or maybe this is what I can do, or maybe that is what I can do. But then everything, the inside voice kept telling me, no, not this, no, not this, no, not this. And then one day, this very old good friend of mine was here from the US. So like we were talking about timing. So the timing is something which is, this is so important, and it plays always a very significant role in each one of our lives, whether we register it or not. So this friend of mine is here from the US, and one day we meet, and she's just telling me about Shakuntala ji. So she says she went and met her, and she says, why don't you also meet her? She's an interesting person and stuff. So my mom and I went and met Shakuntalaji. And when we went there, I mean, I didn't know why am I there, because my friend wanted me. She had talked so much about her. So we just went to meet her. And of course, she did tell me that she knows regression and stuff. So both of us went to meet her. And that's when, and again, the timing was so right, ma'am, that I think just when I went to meet Shakuntalaji, I think just about 10 days later, you were going to conduct a workshop in Jaipur.
Yes.
So Shakuntalaji tells me, why don't you do this? Trupti ma'am's going to be. So that was the first time. So I was like, who's Trupti ma'am? She says, oh, you don't know Ras Pichle Namka. I said, of course I know Ras Pichle Namka. I said, oh, wow, she's going to be here in Jaipur. And then she said, yes, so you please register for the workshop and stuff. So I didn't give it a second thought. It just immediately clicked.
Yes.
Immediately clicked. So something inside told me, please go ahead. Otherwise, my mind would often say, no, not this, not this, not this, not this. But here, there was no conflict, and I was totally in sync with the inner voice. Though at that point of time, I was not clear in my head that where this is going to lead me, how will my future be like, or will I make a career out of it? This was not clear to me at that point of time. But I felt that as if I was being guided, and I will let this guidance work for me, and I will not interfere in it. So this is how I ended up in your workshop in Jaipur, and from there I was there and I'm here, and there is no U-turn. So I'm extremely thankful that to the universe, to this entire mandala, which connected me with you. You became that channel for me, and you hold a great importance. So you are a very important link to help me get answers to many of those questions which my life was seeking. So I would say that yes, your workshop was the beginning, and the process is still on. So yes, I feel fortunate and blessed that I'm a part of you.
Thank you, Manika
Thank you
and
so
Payal,
much.
both. Thank you, Beta. I just want to say one thing very interesting that is coming up just now from both your conversations. I can also see Payal very emotional, when she's talking, and Manika very sensitively putting things forward. And one quality that's coming up in both of you is the kind of ambivalence. You see, nothing's wrong in your life, but yet you feel something's not right.
Right. Yes.
So this is a very, very unique quality that few people have. See, there are some people in the world who will just go with the flow. They don't listen to the inner voice, or they don't really think so deeply. They just earn money and have children, and get the kids on to school and college and get them married and play with their grandchildren, and they're happy, and which is okay, which is absolutely fine, right? But the two of you, the one quality that's coming up is that sensitive seeking, which Payal is also speaking about. Manika, you're also speaking
and Manika
about.
is also speaking about, yes.
There's this need to know more, to seek more. Like Payal said, she has everything. There's no reason for her to complain. Yet, there is this thirst. I feel that when I'm looking at the two of you, there's this deep thirst to know who you really are. Like Manika doesn't feel she's only Manika, this person. Payal doesn't feel she's only Payal, married with a child. There's something more. The story is not this. There's some story behind this story.
Yes.
That needs to be experienced, right?
Right.
So I think we should find out about that story behind this one, because that's going to give us better insights, right, Mridula?
Yes,
Okay.
Absolutely.
So why don't we ask Manika about the lifetime that you saw and the kind of changes that came in you post that. So Manika, please enlighten us.
The lifetime I saw, okay, because we were all learning to practice hypnotherapy, and most of us there wanted to take it up as a profession then. So it was my turn as a subject, and because I as such, I had nothing that I wanted answers for, because I did not have A problem or B problem that, okay, I will sit with that mindset and then go into a state of regression.
Correct.
So um, when I was being regressed and I was being asked, okay, so where do you see yourself? I said, well, I see myself by this river. There's this river. I explained all the surroundings because I could see everything very clearly. And then she asks me, so do you see your feet? I'm like, no, I don't see my feet. And then I got stuck there. And then you prompted that. So I don't remember that question very clearly, what you prompted. But the moment I was asked that question, I immediately could see myself sitting there as a rock. Because earlier I could see the rock, but I just couldn't identify with that rock. And it was like a huge rock sitting by the river Ganges. So that was a shock, because consciously it was difficult to accept, to digest, because we human beings have never been raised to even think in terms of that we can be anyone else, or there can be somebody um, beyond us, or because we feel that we are the ones and we are the ultimate ones.
True.
So this is how we have been programmed or conditioned, and we have that's how we have grown.
Yes.
We have been raised, and not just us, our generations have been raised
True.
like that. So the mind kept interfering, and yet I kept describing everything. And once I was out of regression, there was this huge conflict going on within me, because I could not simply say no to what I had experienced during the time of regression. And at the same time, my mind would not stop. Like, what is this? How can somebody be a rock or whatever? So this kept going on. And as me again being a practitioner of Nichiren Buddhism. So for the only solution to me, because I had been practicing for many years then, so the only solution is every time I have questions, I just go sit and chant, and I get my answers. So I started chanting, and I was like, what is this? How can I be a rock? How can I be a rock? So gradually, I started feeling. So every time I would sit and chant, after some time, the mind would shut. It would go blank. And one day while chanting, when my mind was blank, I started experiencing, I went back to that same point where I was being regressed. I could get a lot of insights that while I was being regressed, my entire focus went on to the conscious mind, because it was telling me, no, no, you can't be a rock. How can you be a rock? You're imagining, or maybe it's your own story, you're cooking it or whatever. But I could clearly feel that as a rock, I had emotions. I could feel very, very clearly. I could feel that there were people who would come, they would sit on me, so whether it was summer, it was winter, it was rains, it was cold, it was heat, I could feel everything. As a rock, I could feel everything. I had emotions as a rock. I could feel a lot of people coming and kicking me. They're just venting their anger out or their disappointment out. I could feel all of that. And that day, when I could feel all of that while chanting, I had tears in my eyes. And somewhere, a lot of my questions got answered that day, because for a long time, I was feeling deep sadness within me, and it was unexplained. Because in this lifetime, I haven't experienced so much of sadness, that because I knew this lifetime wasn't that bad. So where was the sadness coming from? Very deep in my heart, very deep. And that day, my tears just couldn't stop flowing, and I cried so much while chanting, because I was like, oh my god, this sadness is so deep. As a rock, I was sad. It was so difficult for me to believe that as a rock somebody can be so sad, because I obviously did not like people kicking me, coming there. And nobody cared, because I knew that I'm alive. If you touch me, feel me, I can feel you, but obviously people don't know that I have life. So they treated me the way they treated me, thinking that I'm a non-living being. but I was alive. I had life very much there, and I could feel. I could also, this is funny, but I could also feel people coming and peeing on me.
Oh. And then do you remember where were you at that minute of time? Do you remember the place?
I very clearly remember, Mridula, that I was by the river Ganges. I mean, there was no,
Oh.
it was definitely river Ganges, and I was by
Oh.
the side, and I was like
Oh.
big. I was not like a small pebble or something. I was big. I was really big.
But presently you don't look big.
Yeah, I'm not, but I was big that time.
But
And
she's kind of expanded, Mridula.
Yeah.
She's an expanded being. That is why. So you can't see
Here,
her aura.
yes,
Her
yeah.
aura is expanded.
Yes,
Only her physical
absolutely.
body may be
Beautiful
big.
aura, beautiful aura,
Yes.
beautiful aura. Yes.
And you know, another very interesting thing, Mridula, because I know, because I've done the session on Manika in the training, we needed her consciousness to leave the rock. If you remember Manika.
yes.
Right? And, you know, she was like, actually, we could sense that the grains and the pores in the rock, yeah, and her consciousness is there, you know.
Okay.
And then I remember at one point, I don't know whether I said the rock is shattering or breaking or something,
Yes.
and then the consciousness moved out of the rock.
Yes.
And can you tell me, Manika, what it felt like when you left the rock?
Yes.
Ma'am, it was so difficult to leave the rock. Believe me, it was not easy. I was still so rooted, even though, I mean, I could clearly experience it that I am a human, and I'm so aware of this fact, because I've been living this lifetime. Yet it was so difficult to leave the consciousness from there. It was so extremely difficult. I mean, a stage came during the regression where I felt it was nearly impossible. I would probably never be able to leave this, and I will always be with it. But thanks to ma'am, I'm sure, ma'am, even you felt that it was a huge effort. It wasn't that easy.
Yes, it was.
So
It was, Manika.
could,
I could feel that, that I wouldn't say attachment. I'd
yes,
say that, you know, like the rock became you and you became the rock.
right,
You know,
right.
and it was so, it took us some time actually before
Yes.
you moved away, you know,
Yes.
from that space. And
Yes.
I think you were very emotional.
Extremely. And I could, while I was struggling very hard to release that, I could also feel that you were also putting in a lot of effort.
Yeah.
I could really feel it. And it was a collective effort that I could finally come out of it, because I very clearly remember that when I was trying to leave that place, my consciousness from there, ma'am had put in so much of effort giving that instruction, and then I had to gather all my strength, and I could literally feel, I could see, not just feel, I could see the rock, you know, literally breaking into pieces, very small pieces, even turning into dust. And you know how it was so filmy that when you see that, you know, suddenly it's an explosion and this thing comes out of the rock, you know.
I remember
This is what I saw.
Yeah.
And after that, I felt so drained and tired. I was like hardly left with any energy.
So,
I
that
remember.
minute, what was the emotion? You must have observed her emotion and expression. What was the expression?
She was emotional. She was very emotional, and I also remember her feeling very cold.
Yes.
Manika, if you remember, because when she
Yes,
said
yes,
she's
very
in the
clearly.
river, and I
Haji.
remember that, you know, I also asked her, you know, how are you feeling as a rock, and she said, I'm feeling very cold.
Yes.
And if you remember, Manika, we put like, you know, blanket
Yes,
over you.
yes, I
So she
remember
was
it.
shivering. She was
Oh.
actually
Yes.
feeling so cold.
Yes.
And if I also remember, Manika, you were sneezing.
Yes, I was sneezing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So she had this release taking place because of being in
Yes.
that cold river.
Yes.
And, you know, like Manika is saying that I wanted the consciousness to now leave the rock. So I gave
Absolutely.
multiple suggestions, simple statements saying that maybe now it's time for you to leave. But no,
Yeah. No.
she was not leaving. And then eventually we spoke about like shattering the rock.
Yes.
You know, I had to give a direct hypnotic suggestion suggesting that the rock is going to shatter.
Oh,
Only then
awesome.
could she leave, because otherwise she was like entrapped in it. but
Yes,
comfortable.
absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
So that was something that I remember so clearly, that she
Yes.
was facing, and the coldness, the shivering. Her whole
Yes.
body was shivering, and she was sneezing also at
Yes.
that time. And then,
Yes.
she. So it's so interesting, Manika, Payal, and Mridula, we've all seen this, of course, that the
Yeah.
client may be going through some physiological disturbance, but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean the client moves out of the hypnotic state.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely,
Because
ma'am.
it's like you are so much in that space
Yeah.
that though you are listening to my voice, you've identified so much with that
Yeah.
object,
Right.
like in Manika's case, the rock, that
Yeah.
she doesn't think that I need to come back to this human form, though she knows she's
Yes.
human.
She's
So
human.
it's
Yes.
such
And yeah.
a, what should I say, like a,
Well, she was very comfortable, and it was very comforting for her to be in the state of a rock.
I don't know,
True.
I think she
Were
was
you
just there.
comfortable? She was just there. Okay.
Um, I I think I was comfortable because I could relate so much to that existence, because that existence was still a part of me. It was there.
Okay.
Today, I can very clearly, with a lot of conviction, I can put it in words that none of the 84 lakhs existences that each one of us have lived, those existences don't leave us. The traces, the memories of those existences are always there within us.
Yes.
And that is why I feel there is this whole concept of parallel universe,
Yes.
because
Yes.
all these
Beautiful.
existences parallelly are there, they exist parallelly. The memories, our body carries so many different lifetimes memories, it is unbelievable. I mean, that particular regression session changed, I would not, change is a very small word, I would say it transformed my entire
Transformed
being
you.
internally.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
my
Absolutely.
perspective, my life, I mean, I'm not me after that. I'm really not me. If somebody tells me, are you Manika? I hesitate to even say that I'm Manika, because I know I'm not just Manika. There is so much parallel, there's so many memories, and there's so much more to me. So it feels a little shallow, and it feels little less to say that I am Manika, because that I somewhere is lost now.
Yeah.
It really doesn't make sense.
Lovely, Manika.
So
Very nice. So we'll come back to the transformation that has taken
yes,
place a little
yes.
later. Let me get to Payal. Payal, you have to share your, what should I
Yeah.
say, an amazing lifetime that you've seen as a non-human form. So share that with us.
Yeah. So when we were doing regression on each other, people were coming up with beautiful stories. Some said, I saw this, I saw, everybody was saying human. So I was also expecting a human life. And it was not easy. I mean, 3 people tried on me and I was not getting regressed. So that is when I remember ma'am telling me that you're holding yourself. Tum kar nahi rahi ho, janbujh ke. You are holding yourself somewhere. And I actually did not had any issue where I should go in, what answers I should seek. So I just said, pick me anywhere. And that is how, when the regression started and Abhilasha was doing on me, she made me think about, because I was not seeing anything other than the colors. I would see a lot of colors around. And then she said, okay, start drawing on the page. Think that is a white page and
Screen.
start drawing. Yeah, it's a screen. You draw with those colors. And then when I started drawing, I just saw a trunk, that tree trunk, broken in half. And on that trunk, and it was hollow. And my entire lower part, it got so hard like a rock, like a wood. Yeah, and I was crying in pain. I was telling Abhilasha, take me out, take me out. It's paining, it's hurting me, take me out. And she also got scared, what's happening? But and then she said, okay, go back when you were green. So when the moment she said, and I started seeing leaves on myself, and when I was green, that pain absolutely went. There was no pain. And I was
Beautiful.
smiling. This is what she told me later on, that you were smiling, you were saying, I can see the birds, I can see the butterflies around. And then she asked me, what are you afraid of? And I said, storms, strong winds. I'm afraid of strong winds. And then so then I noticed the leaves of that tree. It was very different. It was neither a heart shape, I would say, nor a butterfly. It looked like the butterfly wings also. It looked like a heart shape. I had never seen such a leaf in my life, not a tree like that in my life. And I started feeling that that was an imagination. It is just an imagination. And then she took me to the spiritual realm and she asked me, what are the messages? And the messages that I was getting is fulfill, integrate, these type of words. I would not even consciously think of these words, but it just came. And she said, now look upon your body from up. Now how you feel. And it was complete sense of satisfaction. Even though I was seeing it for the second time, that the same hollow, broken tree, as if it had broken due to storm, half. But it was a sense of satisfaction as if I have lived my life. So when I came out of the session, and I just could not believe, I said, no, it was just my imagination. You made me imagine all these things. How can everybody seeing a human form and I'm seeing a tree? So I was not ready to believe it. And I said, okay, I was completely drained by that time because I cried. And so I just slept. So next day morning when I come for the class, I see Abhilasha telling the story to ma'am. Telling my story that this is what happened to Payal yesterday.
Yeah.
So I said, no, ma'am, that was my imagination. I don't think I saw it. And then ma'am said, no, I also was a tree. I have seen myself as a tree.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, if the guru can see, then it can be possible that I may have also seen.
Yeah. But Payal, you have also kind of validated this experience.
Yes.
So can you share that with everybody?
Yeah.
Yes.
So when I came back from the training session, I would say another 1.5 months were the best period of my life that I have experienced so far. I was so much at peace with myself. I was smiling, I was laughing. I did not get angry at all. Nothing would bother me at all. I mean, I was in my very comfort zone and I did not even wanted to think what happened in the training. I was enjoying that phase. And one day what happened, it was around 9:30, me and my husband, we just went for a walk and suddenly all the lights went off, all the street lights and everything went off. And as we were walking, because this question was there in my mind, कि ऐसा कोई tree है क्या? You know, such a, I don't know if some tree exists like this. I was always looking for that kind of tree. And suddenly I see leaf on the ground and it said it's the same tree. This is the kind of leaf I saw.
Oh,
And
wow.
I told my husband, say, ye ped tha. You know, I just pointed and I said, this is what the leaf looked like. And he said, I can't see. Itne andhere pe tujhe kaise dikh raha hai? You know, he says, how can you see? And I looked up the tree and I can see the leaves clearly. I also saw the flower. It was a pink color flower on the top of the branch, on the top branches. And he said, I cannot see anything. How can you see? So then we just put on that mobile flashlight and we saw the leaves. And that is the time I came back home and I even messaged in the group. So this is the leaf I saw.
Yes, I remember.
The next morning, yeah. So my husband was saying, how can you see? It is such peach, it is dark. He was not able to see, I was able to see. The next morning, he was passing from there and he sent me a picture and he says, yes, the flowers are pink. So it was not, you know, I actually can say I did not see it with my eyes. I was seeing as if I was seeing it with my mind's eye.
Yes.
It was, that tree was telling me I do exist.
Yes.
Yeah, I am there.
Yeah, and
I
you
am
have
there,
been
yeah,
this
Yes.
before.
Yeah.
And
So
the
with this,
name of the tree, Payal?
It's the Bahunia tree.
Bahunia.
I'm sure many
it was
of you
Bahunia.
must
So
not
this
have
is,
seen. I never saw that tree before ever.
oh really?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
nice. Now we will now Google it and see it. And this reminds me of you, ma'am, telling us the same in this session. I remember you said that you also have an experience on tree. So, if you could elaborate a little bit more, taking on to with
Yeah.
from Payal and talk about tree and how does tree symbolizes, what symbolism it holds
Yeah.
for each one of us.
Yeah, I too have had an experience in when I
Yeah.
was training. So
Yes.
when I went for my own training, which is 20 years ago, the facilitator was asking us, just like I tell you, do it one-on-one. Okay, so Dr. Newton and Lakshmi Newton, both of them are my teachers. So Dr. Newton said, okay, get into groups and you have to do one-on-one. So a friend of mine, whom I had met there only, I didn't know her before that, Anuradha. So Anuradha and we'd been there like for 5 days and we were really tired because first time, this past life thing and all that was happening. So I told Anu that, we didn't have a chance to chat much because don't get much time. I'm sure both of you know that. All three of you know.
Yeah, we know how you make us work. We know that.
Yeah. So I told Anuradha, I'll just make up a story in my head, okay, and you just say the instructions, and I'll just say the story, and we'll finish it in 15 minutes and go out. But when she started, just like Payal was saying, okay, when she started telling me the instructions, the induction process, I suddenly, like she felt pain, I too felt as if I had become solid.
Yeah.
Like Payal said, solid.
Yeah, very solid.
Yeah, so I felt I had become solid and I was not able to move much. And she was asking me like, where are your feet and what are you wearing? But then I didn't have any feet, like Manika was saying. Like, I mean, what do I say? I don't have any feet. So, and she kept on asking those questions, right? So I didn't know what to say and I started crying. Okay, but I had not told her anything. So she was wondering why is she crying when she hasn't told me anything. So she said, what is making you cry? I remember this so clearly. And so I said, I'm being cut. So she didn't understand, right? I mean, who's being cut? So then she asked me, who are you? And then I told her that I'm a tree. And then she was like, she got no questions to ask, and Dr. Newton, sir, was there. So she called Dr. Newton, and Dr. Newton till today tells me I haven't met a tree except you. So then, he was there and, he kind of prompted that, ask these questions and whatever. And I remember clearly, Payal, Manika and Mridula, but I was this tree, just like Payal said, green, leaves, and there were nests of the birds. The birds were sitting there. There was a chirping sound in my ears. And like Payal said, scared of a storm. Yeah, trees get scared of storms. Exactly, that's what happened to me. I could sense that a storm is coming. I could just sense that kuch gadbad hone wali hai, And when I saw my trunk, trunk of the tree, I could see an eye inside. बाद में मैंने पढ़ा that there are trees which have a Devi eye. There are these Devi trees.
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Okay,
So,
very good.
In many of our scriptures, when you see the picture of a tree, they'll draw an eye in the middle.
Yeah. There is this kind of an eye.
Yeah, I didn't seen that before, but after that, then I whatever searched for it, and then I could sense that I can't move, and the storm is coming, and I could sense, that the leaves are now falling and the twigs are breaking and then the birds are flying away, nest is breaking, and then the storm comes, and the trees, and I'm shaking. I remember Anuradha telling me later, what was happening to you? I said, but this is what's happening to me, right? And then eventually, I'm still there. My consciousness is still in the tree.
Yeah.
And like Payal said, half cut, because first she saw herself chopped off. So I felt myself like not chopped, but my twigs and everything are broken, right? And I'm just like bare. He says, I'm just a bare tree, right? Sad now. And then I see a woodcutter, some ancient woodcutter with that very kind of, an axe, hardly looking like an axe, very kind of rudimentary person, and, like wearing hardly anything. And he comes with that object and he starts chopping. And then I felt so much of pain, as if I'm being chopped.
Oh my
Payal
God.
said, I can relate to Payal because I know what she's saying. And I was then into logs of wood because he had chopped me, right? So I can't, where do I stay?
Where do you stay?
Right? So I could feel my consciousness floating and moving up. And now I'm this logs of wood, and I'm seeing my logs of wood, going in the river, because that's where the woodcutter is putting them. Purane zaman mein se karte the na, to transport the logs in the river.
Yes.
And then I could feel myself floating, actually floating up and up. And then she said, take a message from your spiritual guide, because that was something written in that manual, because now she had to ask something. So I remember her saying, take a message from your spiritual guide. And I was crying, okay? I was still crying. And then the message, I don't know what Payal and Manika will tell us, but the message came to me like a sound, like a voice. I could hear it because I'm basically clairaudient. So I could hear things.
Yeah.
So I could hear a message saying, in helplessness, help.
Oh, wow.
So when you are helpless,
Beautiful.
you have to help, not feel helpless. Now, it just like made so much of sense to me, because in my life, my career began with children who are basically differently able. So, and maybe I was going through a difficult period at that time also. So I was feeling helpless, and I get this job at the Spastic Society of India, helping those who feel helpless. And I can never thank my kids out there, the kind of power that they gave me, though they were helpless.
Right.
So this whole thing came to me that, my God, I mean, when you feel victimized, you help. You don't feel helpless.
Beautiful.
And it was amazing. And after the session was over, she just like gave me some tissue and all that stuff. And then when I went
And
out,
the sobs.
yeah. And then I went out, and then I was just looking at the trees, I'm sure Payal did the same thing.
Yes.
And I kept looking at the trees,
All
and
the
the
trees.
flowers and the twigs and the branches. And I felt as if there is no distinction between that tree, those trees, and me. Okay, and suddenly I had this thought. I gave a call, at home, because I was not training in Bombay. I'd gone down south to Hyderabad. So I gave a call to my husband. And the first question I asked my husband, I didn't tell him my story, but the first question I asked my husband was, have you watered my plants?
Oh, so
sweet.
cute.
My husband said, "Hamare baare mein pucho." And then I realized that जब भी मैं फोन करती हूँ घर पे, मैं first question यही पूछती हूँ, आपने मेरे पौधों को पानी दिया कि नहीं?
पानी दिया क्या?
Yes.
And I'm always concerned about my plants more than I'm concerned about human beings.
So
I think
this
Payal
case,
can identify. Payal, what do you say?
Yes,
Yeah,
same
yeah,
thing.
absolutely,
I mean, whenever
absolutely.
I have to go out for 3-4 days, I'm always worried when I come back, will my plants survive or not? That is the first thing in my mind. So I don't plan very long trips because of my plants. Second, whenever they die, even if they are standing there, I do not remove them. I don't know why. I have some hope that they might spurt, small things will come out.
Yeah.
So I usually very easily I don't remove them when they start drying. And one thing which I thought nobody noticed in my house, so whenever I come from outside after 3-4 days, I will keep my purse and I will water my plants. First thing I would do this, and I thought nobody noticed it.
I'll do the same thing. I'll enter my house and first go and see the plants.
Yes.
And
So
in the morning also I'll sing to them and all that, And my daughter will say, what are you doing? I think it's very what should I say? It's very difficult for people like
To
Payal and
explain.
me,
Yeah.
to explain this to people who say, "Abhi plants ko kyun rakha hua hai?" I remember when the Mridula, when jab ye hua tha na, kya kehte dengue, the dengue fright.
Yeah.
My husband was like, "In plants ko hata."
Ha.
Because these mosquitoes come. And I said, no, like I can't remove the plant.
You can't do that.
Okay, with great effort, उसने वो बड़े-बड़े जो पौधे थे, I said, you keep them down so at least when I'm going out of the building, I can see them. Okay, so that's, I can understand what Payal, Manika is saying. The kind of, we just feel so close to things which are considered non-human.
Right.
So, Ma, with taking on with this, then what is the symbolism? Because people often see trees in dreams and all that. Is there any connectivity with that?
Yeah. So, Payal will identify with this about trees. So, what is a tree? A tree has roots, it has trunk, it has leaves, it has fruits and flowers. Okay.
Yeah.
So, the roots ground the tree. Similarly, when you experience lifetimes of trees, you can actually feel yourself more grounded. So after their lifetime is over, you can sense that grounding inside you. That's what happens. The trunk is symbolic of the legs and the torso. Okay? So you get a little balanced after you experience this particular kind of lifetime. And the branches and all that actually represents your hair, your head, your brain, and suddenly there's a sense of power. You feel empowered, just like a tree does, right? I mean, the tree is growing, and then eventually it grows full grown, and that's when the flowers and fruits come, right? So when you experience this, suddenly, what I have noted, what Payal will also validate it possibly. So after I saw myself as a tree, in my life, whatever I think manifests.
Yes.
So it's like I will have an idea. Yeah. So the idea is like the seed or the bud. Yeah. Or the seed of the fruit. And then it'll fructify, it'll create a fruit, right?
Yeah.
So when I think of something which is like a bud or a seed, immediately after a couple of days, it manifests. It actually becomes a fruit or a flower.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I trust me, what we are doing just now, okay, the kind of Purnamadah series, came to me in my dream 1.5 months ago.
Okay.
It just came that I have to do some series where past life therapy gets like a global platform, global recognition, and people who have experienced it come and speak about their experience. It just came like that, okay? And then in the morning, I called up Shrija and I told her, Shrija, I've got this thought. She said, Ma, let's just do it. And within 15 days, we just started.
Wow.
So I think when the symbolism of the tree is, tree is also highly spiritual. It's a very spiritual form. You have like the tree of life.
Yeah.
Kabbalah speaks about the tree of life, right?
The Kabbalah speaks.
So it's a very spiritual form. And when you experience the form of a tree, you're actually introspecting within. And the other part of a tree, which Payal will also agree, is that, trees are a kind of habitat for everything that is there on this planet.
Yes.
There are insects, there are worms, there are butterflies, birds, animals, humans, all creatures, all species, the tree is able to take care of.
Yeah.
So it's like a very wise, wise creation of God.
Yes.
It's giving you everything and taking nothing.
Yeah.
So why I invited both of them is this a mineral and this is a tree, and they are interlocked and interlinked together. And like I was saying, that a tree is like a connection between heaven and earth. So whatever heaven wishes to give us, we just take it and we give it back to the earth, because then we have flowers and fruits which fructify. The seeds of it go back to the earth. So it's like a beautiful cycle. And the other interesting part which Payal I'm sure will also feel this, is that the tree actually never dies.
Yeah.
It changes form. In
Forms.
summer, it's going to store its water, and in winter, it allows the sap, the water, to go down to the roots so that it can survive. In spring, it gives flowers and fruits. So it sees all seasons.
Yes.
So it's like when you experience, that's what I feel, when I experience that tree, I enjoy every season and I enjoy every change in my life. Because today
That's
I'm
true.
not a tree, right?
That's
I'm a
true.
human being. So how does
Yes.
this tree metaphorize in me? It's like a kind of a metaphor for me now, right? It tells me that in any situation, at any time of your life, adapt, accommodate, adjust everything and anything. And I think that message for me, for that tree, is so beautiful that I think I've never looked back in the last 20 years, as you all know. But my life is just, I don't know, it's,
Just
what
changed.
can I say? It's become like a poem. It's really like a poem. Everything is rhyming.
Blooming like a tree.
That's what I feel. Yeah, like a tree.
Blooming
And-
like a tree.
Mridula,
Right,
another beautiful part of the tree is every leaf of the tree is the same.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
And every fruit that grows is the same, and every
Is the
flower
same
that you
size.
grow is the same. So
Same.
I think in time to come, when you're a tree, or when you hold the tree within you in this human form, you stop discriminating between anything.
Yes.
You
Right.
just allow everything to be you and you everything. It's, I mean, I can go on and on with the tree because it's
moving
so
on.
much like me. So Payal,
Yes,
what do you say? All that I have said.
Absolutely. That is, I relate to, and the manifestation part that you said, I'll tell you. I was actually thinking, how do I tell people that I'm a therapist? This thing was going on in my mind because I am not a person who can actually sell myself. You're saying that I have learned this, Mr. Siklo. I have this thing, take it from me. So I was wondering, how do I tell people that I have done this and I want to practice and I have become a healer? And this thing happened. You remember, I just mailed you the next day. You asked me, do you want to be on the series? What is a good advertisement? I would say it just manifested.
Yeah,
I mean, now people know that I'm a therapist.
exactly.
Wow.
So yeah,
So,
yeah,
so ma'am,
absolutely.
taking on with this, even the minerals would have the same symbolic
Yeah,
symbolizes.
rocks and minerals are also like a metaphor. I mean, Manika has
Yeah,
beautifully
I mean, Manika is
said
this thing.
about it, But what
Yeah,
is a rock? A rock, a mineral, a gemstone. It holds codified memories since the
Yeah.
beginning of civilization.
yeah,
Yes.
Because you look at, I mean, they have fossils, right?
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And fossils, as we know, plants, they die and they eventually become fossils. So as a mineral, as a rock, Manika has possibly or is experiencing
Yes.
that, like she said, she's, I am you and you are me. That sense of harmony, or that sense of coming together of all beings, is what she experienced. And she will definitely be able to uh, do therapies like, let's say, Reiki or pranic healing, or possibly in astrology also,
Oh, lovely.
very
lovely.
easily,
Yeah,
because she has those memories, those codes, which are there on this earth, in this planet, for the longest time, since the beginning
longest
of
time.
actually civilization. And when you experience a mineral lifetime, there's 2-3 qualities that will come up. One is kind of dependability. You will feel that people can depend on you.
Yeah,
People will even say that, Manika, whenever we are in trouble and we call you up, like you're there
Yes.
for
Yes.
us,
yeah.
like the earth. You
Yeah.
can go anywhere on this planet, the earth is always there.
Yes.
You can't go to a place where there is no earth, right?
Yes.
In any
Yes.
form, it is going to exist. And the other interesting part, Manika, is that earth can change form.
Yes.
From a mountain mud, You can make buildings, you can make monuments, you can make tombstones, you can make graveyard stones, you can make beautiful statues, you can make murals. So earth has that quality. It is able to change and shift beautifully. So I think maybe that's one quality that you could have brought back.
Yeah, she's got that too,
Adapting.
yeah.
Tell
Yes,
us, Manika.
absolutely.
Yes, ma'am. Whatever you're just saying, I can so relate to it because ever since then, it did not happen immediately after the session. But as time passed by and as I could understand the whole sentiment of a rock better, I started experiencing, of course, it took me time to understand those experiences. Initially, I felt I got scared and I felt there was something wrong with me. So it took me some time to actually understand what I had been experiencing. So I would go to malls and I would come back and I would feel so drained. 3-4 days I will only sleep because I was left with no energy. This kept happening for some time, and I spoke to certain people and people thought that maybe I was overthinking, so that is why I'm feeling drained. But gradually I got to understand that I have developed, or maybe I probably am manifesting it from within, that I can sense and I can absorb whatever people are feeling, people are thinking. So I would sit on a couch, or I would sit on a bed, or I would sit on a chair. Suddenly I would be surrounded by a lot of thoughts, and I would think, oh my God, what's wrong with me? I mean, why am I thinking like this? So all of this would become scary. I would enter my own kitchen and I would open the sugar container, and suddenly this whole thing comes to me and I'm like, chini mat khao, mote ho jaoge, chini mat. I'm like, what am I thinking? What's wrong with me? Why am I thinking like this? So initially I felt there was something wrong with me, and maybe people are right that I have excessively started thinking, I'm overthinking all the time, and I thought probably I'm going insane. And then obviously, because I'm thinking so much, I feel drained, and then I sleep. I would like literally sleep for 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. I would just sleep, and I would have so much of electoral because I wanted to regain my energy. So I would have electoral, and my mom used to tell me, you know what, I think you're overdoing this Buddhism thing, and this is not suiting you. And I was like, no, it's not because of this, there's something else, I don't know what it is. So anyway, gradually I started getting my answers, because I really was praying that I want my answers. What is really happening to me? Do I need medical help, or what is it? Because I was scared. And then of course, again, it's like when you seek, answers come to people who are seeking. People who are not seeking, answers don't come to them. So because I was seeking answers, I was guided to you, ma'am. And now I was seeking more answers. So I naturally came in contact with pranic healing. I came in contact with Sadhguru. So I was once again, I was guided to different right sources, because I always prayed, because I was fully aware that there's so many people who are willing to tell you, because today everybody knows everything, because there's so much of information floating everywhere. So being fully aware of this, I didn't want to go to anybody who knows everything. I just wanted to go to right people who genuinely could help me get my answers. So that was also my prayer, that I don't want so many people coming in my life. I just want right people coming in who can help me, and who can help me get answers to my questions. So then I got to understand that okay, I am sensitive. I've become so sensitive that I am feeling everybody's energy. I absorb it, and then it stays with me, and then I take time to recoup. And 3-4 days of sleeping, then I'm fresh and I'm revitalized once again. Now it was a challenge for me, so I started feeling scared of meeting people. And if I would be in an environment where people are talking a lot of negativity, I will absorb that. If I'm in positive surroundings, I would absorb that. So like, becoming one with everything. So I started experiencing that oneness with everything. I mean, there was no segregation or discernment that only with this or only with good or only with that, but that oneness I could experience with everything that was happening around, and I could absorb everything. Sit on a chair, then whoever was sitting on that chair before me, I would absorb that person's energy, and I would know, okay, maybe, okay, this is what this person was thinking. So not my thoughts, this person's thoughts. I would touch somebody's clothes and I would know, okay, when the person was wearing these clothes, I know this is how this person was feeling. He was not feeling great, or he was feeling sad, or for that matter,
Texture.
I would,
Yeah.
yes, the texture. And then I would, if somebody would like hold my hand, sometimes I literally had to like do this because I could feel what's going on within the person, and that was disturbing, and it would disturb me. So to protect my own self, I started maintaining that distance for a long, long time, till the time I could have a solution that how can I protect myself? Because I was taking a toll of all of this. And
Mm.
then gradually I could see that, okay, maybe this is how I can protect. This is what I can do. This is what I can do.
Yeah.
So I still absorb. I still get to know. I started feeling, I would touch the leaves and I could feel how the plants are feeling, how the trees are feeling. I feel communication happening to me
Yeah.
everywhere. I feel even the air is communicating, the water is communicating.
Yeah.
So the entire nature, I can literally understand the communication. I can feel the communication. It's
Yes.
there, and the only difference is now I'm not scared. I
Mm.
understand what it is. I can feel the sentiments, because as a rock, I knew nobody could feel my sentiments. I was going through
Yes.
so much. Now I feel how people feel. I feel how the plants feel. I even feel how the rocks and small pebbles feel. I even feel that how the air must be feeling, how Mother Earth must be feeling. I walk bare feet and I can feel the earth. I can feel everything basically.
So,
So,
Manika,
uh,
when Manika is speaking, there's a sense of purity.
Mm.
As if over the time, she's become more purer. Like you're the diamond, and then you like all the facets of the diamond. The person polishes, and then the diamond starts sparkling. So, Manika, when I'm listening to you, I feel you're this money. Your name also has money, Manika,
yes,
and
yes,
your money is sparkling now. Like you took time. You took time for the foundation to settle, because
yes,
earth will do that. It will take
yes.
time to settle down, right? जब हम घर भी बनाते हैं तो वो
Mm,
घर बनने को टाइम लगता है. The walls take time to become a foundation
yes,
and solidify. So you took that time, Manika. And now I can see the sparkling gem that you have become, and I know that the purest form is now coming out. And when I look at you, I feel that from a gemstone, you're going to become, what should I say, like a kind of philosopher's stone. That's what you are becoming, Manika. It's so beautiful. Even
I
your
just
name,
feel,
your name
yes,
is filled with illumination. And for
yes,
Payal, her name, sound. Yeah, Payal is just sound. Yeah,
Absolutely.
and it's
Sound.
rhythm, because पायल का जो साउंड होता है वो नॉइज नहीं होता,
It's
रिदम
pleasant to
होता
hear.
है ना.
Yes.
And Payal, being a tree, has experienced this universal cosmic rhythm. She's become aligned to that rhythm. Just
Yes.
so beautiful. And when I think of my tree, I just feel my name is more to do with contentment. और पेड़ हमेशा खुद से ही contented है, उसे और किसी
Absolutely.
चीज की जरूरत नहीं
जरूरत
जरूरत
पड़ेगी.
नहीं.
भी नहीं है.
So
Yeah.
I think the three of us are just so aligned today. I'm feeling that a lot. And
Absolutely.
I think the word feel has been used by all three of us a lot.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Such a
yes,
common word. Such a
Yeah,
common
so we
word.
are so
Beautiful insight.
highly sensitive to everything around us. And so I
Yes.
just want to tell everybody, all listeners who are listening to all four of us here, that if you're sensitive, it's okay. Don't get upset with the fact that you're sensitive. Instead, just enjoy that sensitivity. And like Manika said, walking on the ground, and um, Payal said about the trees. I mean, how beautifully she said, in the darkness, nobody could see the tree except her. You know,
Absolutely.
Imagine the
Absolutely.
kind of sensitivity that
Yes.
people have. And though you may not experience a lifetime in the mineral or plant kingdom, maybe in some session somewhere in your lifetime, you may identify with what we are saying. That's all I can say. Mridula, anything else you want to ask the guests and me?
Uh, well, I have asked everything. The only one question which has in my thoughts is that you could record these thoughts while all three of you. Like ma'am has already said that she went to Dr. Newton's session and she had fun time, but she could record all these thoughts. So you could record them consciously, because most often we have people who come and say, how would we know? Would we actually know these thoughts exist? Or is that we will forget, it will get erased from our system? So you could record these thoughts, all three of you? And in your consciousness, was it easy or was it a complicated thing to go through the records and to remember them and talk about it later?
No, actually, when you experience something, it's an experience. It's not information, right? We're going through that. That is how we are. All three of us are so animated and emotional when we are talking about it. If it was just an information, I don't think we would have been able to even recall the feelings that we have also.
Right.
But what do you say, Payal and Manika?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, absolutely agree, ma'am.
Yeah.
So you mean by so you mean by the
visual.
Okay. So for, how about you, Manika? What was it, your experience of the complete session when ma'am gave it to you? When you finished, you could record the thoughts and come out stating that this is the thought which I'm carrying and this is the message which I've got?
Yes, like initially, like earlier said, the acceptance part was very difficult. So there was a lot of internal conflict between the mind and what I was feeling inside. But later on, it was effortless, as I actually could feel, and because I just, no matter what my mind told me or what tricks my mind was playing, I just couldn't ignore the whole fact that how I was feeling. Every time I saw even a small pebble, I just couldn't ignore that fact. And it kept becoming a part of me. And as my communication started with different aspects of nature, so I just didn't feel the need to record something, because I felt I myself am a huge record and I'm carrying everything within me, and I can probably tap into the information that I'm carrying whenever I want to. I can have an access to it because I have complete access to it, and it's all within me. So it was also effortless later on. And of course, all my answers that I was seeking, they were all answered, and they were answered beyond that also. Because I clearly remember as a kid also, I used to ask my mom, or I had this thing in my head. And once I asked my mom, what you used to eat when you were pregnant with me, because maybe it was whatever she read or she ate, or that impacted me and made me like this. And then I had this question for many years that, where do we come from? Where do we go? Such questions. So, of course, later on, I was so convinced that, and I used to not just tell myself, but whoever I knew, and whoever I could share this experience of mine, who I knew they probably would take it seriously and not just make fun of it. Whoever I spoke to them, I just told them that I know on planet Earth, as a rock, this is how my existence started here on this planet. It started as a rock. And gradually, this whole thing became so clear to me that it's not just me. All human beings start their existence here on planet Earth as a mineral kingdom.
Yes.
And from there, of course, so this is how I started here. And from where I came from, this answer also I got in the form of, again, that we were all stars, and we came from there. So when I got this insight while I was chanting, again, I thought I was thinking too hard. But then immediately I Googled, and this NASA site popped open. And NASA said that human beings are made of stardust. So when stars die, so just before they die, they collapse, and the dust just, so it's very well described in the NASA, on the NASA site. That so when the stars are about to die, so the stardust falls. And when the stardust falls on planet Earth, that's how the mineral kingdom begins. That's the beginning of the mineral kingdom. And then there's this whole journey. So this whole journey, and then where we are. And from here, this is not this, this is just not it. I mean, there's a long way yet. There's a long way to travel.
Absolutely.
Manika, very
lovely,
nice.
Manika, lovely.
Payal,
You've actually summed it up.
Payal, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, absolutely. Like even my journey started around, I would say 1.5 months after the training session, because that time I said I was completely in a bliss period, if I can call it. I was enjoying, and I also remembered after the training when everybody was writing, "Ma'am, we are feeling very tired, low on energy," and you suggested you drink more water and all. I was the only one who was feeling full of energy.
Yes.
I don't know. I could not understand why they were feeling low, but I think there were so many modalities that were done, like the inner child and the womb
Yeah.
regression. And somewhere due to those, my emotional, accumulation, it all went away.
Went away. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was all out, and I was in a very happy state. I mean, even my children say, "Mummy, aap badal gaye ho," after coming from Rishikesh, "Aap badal
Lovely.
gaye ho."
Lovely.
So, and after 1.5 months, I again started feeling little low. And that is the time I decided I should do something about it. And this is not a one-time process. It has to be done regularly. You have to
Beautiful.
keep on
Very beautiful.
re-energizing yourself.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I started with meditation. So I remember when I learned meditation, I could not sit more than 5 minutes. There were used to be so many thoughts because I learned when I was in a bad phase of my life. I
Right.
was already emotionally drained.
Right.
But now, after this, the first day I sat for half an hour.
Wow.
And when I was meditating, I chose guided meditation so that I don't get distracted. By the end of it, I had no emotions, but I could see all the tears were
Wow.
flowing. And I also remember asking ma'am, I started experiencing this after every meditation, I would cry. There would be tears on my, and then I asked once on the group, "Ma'am, why do I cry?" And she says, "Maybe your pineal gland is getting activated."
Yeah.
Yeah. So then a lot of things started making sense. I started thinking, why did this depression thing happen to me? So it gave me two parts of it. It says one was all those emotions that I have been bottling up for so many years, I could not vent out. That was a way to, it should come out. And the second thing I read somewhere, it said, when you're going, you don't need to search for a guru. When the time comes, the guru will appear in your life. And that is how I met ma'am. So I said she appeared in my life, and that is how things started making sense to me. Then I went to every occasion of my life where I felt let down, I felt hurt. I started revisiting those memories, and now I'm at peace with them. That don't
Lovely.
hurt me that much. Yeah.
Very nice, Payal. That's so
Very nice.
beautiful.
Very beautiful. Very good.
So I'll just like to conclude, and then
Yeah.
Mridula can of course say the
Yes.
closing statements. So one thing is very clear. I think all three of us, when we were talking,
Yes.
plant and mineral lifetimes um, create. You are experiencing something beyond space time, because we are experiencing something which is very ancient. Because trees can live for hundreds of years. The birds can't live for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
The bug cannot live for hundreds of years, but trees can live for hundreds of years.
100 years. So
Minerals and
beautiful.
earth, they're like the beginning of time. So when you experience something like this, your consciousness is going beyond space-time, beyond this lateral existence. We're going into such multiple realities. And this one thing that comes to me is like we are able to understand the magnificence of this universe. And I think we recognize that we are like a cosmic computer.
Yes.
We have all data from the
Yes.
beginning of time that is
Yes.
possibly coded in us.
Yes.
That's the feeling I always have when people experience such non-human lifetimes. Human beings are very limited because they don't understand the limitlessness.
Yes.
But when you experience non-human forms, you're actually going beyond this limited physical mind and body.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
think you open up to that, kind of synchronicity of this
Absolutely.
universe, that the past,
Absolutely.
the present, the future is all happening at this
The
moment.
same time. Yeah.
So I think
Yes.
that synchronicity something that we experience within us, and I'm sure everybody who experiences non-human lifetimes will kind of validate this, that their life changes in a very different way. We don't expect much from relationships. If they're there, it's okay. If they're not there, it's okay. We are happy with the work that we do. It's not that if I get a result or a reward, then my work is better. So, a lot of these expectations are more human expectations, but people, places, results, reward, that just drops, And truly, I feel that when you live a non-human lifetime, you're understanding what the Bhagavad Gita says, कि कर्म किए जा, फल की इच्छा मत कर. So I think all of us are in that space now, that we are not expecting any reward, any result. We're just enjoying the experience of living on this planet. Am I right, Manika?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely, ma'am.
Absolutely, ma'am.
Also, ma'am, I've noticed, I'm sure you and Payal will agree, that after experiencing such a lifetime, somewhere the human ego starts melting.
Yes.
It just melts. You're not just yourself, and that ego, जिसको हम या मैं बोलते हैं, जो जिसकी वजह से हम पूरा सेल्फ डिफेंस के चक्कर में इतना कुछ करते हैं, all that just melts, it dissolves. I don't know where it goes.
You know what happens, Manika? You came from stardust and you become stardust. So how can stars have egos?
Yes, absolutely.
That's the realization that we've come to.
Stars can only fulfill other people's wishes.
So when you see a non-human lifetime, you actually feel very less like human. You feel बहुत छोटे in comparison to them. So that is when this I starts going away from you.
Absolutely. Beautifully put, Manika and Payal. I wish to give you all a big hug. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And
always
Mridula, thank you for anchoring it. Any closing remarks from your side?
Thank you, ma'am, for the insight. Watching something grow is good for moral and high morals. It helps us believe in life, and the way Manika and Payal and you had put it together, believe it or not, ma'am, a lot of faith gets into it. And we keep wondering what are we going to be seeing next. Purnamadah is the significance of the mantra and our concept. Today, feel bountiful. The past life is just like a drop in the ocean. We go through multi-dimensional lives, each one after the other. Listening to such deep-rooted conversations with three of you, I must say, from little seeds, we grow mighty trees. Universe creates music for those who are willing to listen. If you're willing to listen, and if you're willing to listen to that beautiful sound, I am sure each one of us is actually all set to receive beautifully from the universe. Thank you, ma'am. We look forward to more such real past life experiences, journeys, and insights from you. Each session is one better than the other, and how delightful we feel to be part of this. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Manika. And thank you, Payal. And thank you,
Payal. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thanks for coming. Thank you.